So I've been writing some new poetry lately. You know, once you write a book or you do a project, you always think about the next project. It takes a while. It usually takes about 1.5 years, 2 years to get over the shock of actually doing a project, as you've probably known. And you forget about how hard it was and all that stuff. As you know, I don't know what it was like in Seattle, but Portland, it rained almost constantly last year. And it was very horrific. And so I really didn't want to write any poetry because I was teaching a lot. I'm a teacher. I teach music and I teach art for middle school students and that sort of thing. I'm a professional musician, so I'm always busy. But each night I would go to the computer and just start typing poems. And these are some of the poems that kind of came out of this last winter, some late spring stuff. And I'll start with this one here. This is called, where did I go? Got another one here. I'll start with this one called Night Comes as a Sleepless Friend. Night comes as a sleepless friend. Each cold hour wakes our best of mind. Darkness mute whim whispers, dirges to the dawn. Birds quip the chilled raw beckoning. The chilling sun leans against the falling skies. Another chance to get it right. Strangled by blankets, strewn and twisted, I pause to rise, question. Do I still care enough to fake earthly despair? Can I complete my past by perfecting the now? The hours slip by like paper in a newsprinter. Night slides beneath the door. I wake to the news of war. My sleepless friend grins, motions me to REM, to celebrate the end of the end of the end of ending. This is one that we put on the site, which I really appreciate. It was really nice to get on Facebook and hit my little poem and see this poem in print, because I had actually had many. I'm a professional painter too, and I saw some crows one time. I was. I don't you have McMinimums up here? Do you guys get that thing? Okay. So I'm sitting at this McMinimums in this mall somewhere, and they were. I used to fly Falcons, and the field that I used to fly my Falcons was where they built this McMinimums, and they were tearing the freeway up, and there was all this road work, and I was just staring at this disaster, you know, of what I remembered the place used to look like. And as I was sitting there, the sky was this August blue, and out of nowhere came this like flock of crows, and they shot across the sky, and it was so powerful, I just went like, yes! It's like they answered my feelings, you know. So this is called, I saw the crows of summer charge the powder blue sky. I saw the crows of summer charge the powder blue sky. Roadwork on the freeway could not stop their mission. Technology with all its posture could not halt their flight. Like midnight ink splattered on sunny white sheets, their ragtag sympathin caught my breath. An array of intent, abstract fortitude. Black-feathered, eyeballing hell, indignant they came, dancing in the air impossible to shatter Darwin's dream. So this was, there's a poet in Portland that's quite well known, and I run into him occasionally. He's on the streets a lot, and he's a great guy. And he was at Trader Joe's. Do you have Trader Joe's up here? Oh God, this is everywhere, isn't it? Okay. And we were talking, and I've been on his radio show on KBOO and this sort of thing. And his name was Walt Curtis. Does anybody know who Walt Curtis is? Okay. So I saw Walt at Trader Joe's, and then later I went back and I wrote a poem. I just seemed funny to run into him. And this is what I wrote. He's kind of a glib character, so this is kind of echoes off his personality a little bit. Nobody reads poetry anymore. I saw our local poet at Trader Joe's today. We talked about the weather. I tried to call you, he said. Somebody read about the Isle of Lesbos, a place for refugees. He was on my radio show. And then I vacationed there, it occurred to me. The Aegean Sea is still in memory. Children leading goats across the roads. Nobody reads poetry there. Anyway, except you, me, and cafe pastry. All that college money gone. English majors shooting guns. Back to what we always knew. Life is broken, even in Hokkaido. And this is called She Wakes from Slumber. She wakes from slumber in arid blue wonder. Trees drip their bowers unto a green-lit solace. Beaming back the glint of a star, limbs clap and wave. The lucid sun pulsates warm perfection. Scattered hot light, sacred pale. 3 months we dream, this home called summer. Laconic dry heat consumes us, just like years before. A yellow song. White cotton gowns, rivers of mercy, to comfort the frostbit weeping poor. Once forgot, I count the days of April, May, to see the world at play in Saul's dawn d'array. 100 tulip days. And this is called Paradox, I Think Not. Paradox, I think not. Cars filled with gas, oil, gridlocked, in time forgot. Hey, that's why we fought that war. Paradox, I think not. It was planned and scanned for years. The real is what you can't fake in a computer. Pick a blossom, hold it till the end. My friend shows me his poem, long-winded prose. I should hand him a rose, rather than pretend I like pixel lights. I love a pen and a notebook, a place by the sea, mystery. A woman next to me, breathing in soft harmony. Better than fantasy. Fancy-free as mercury in hot glass. This was another one that Leopold put on the internet for us, and I'll read this one to you here. This is called I Struggle to Greet the New Day, and this goes back to the winter phenomena that we all experience. I struggle to greet the new day. I struggle to greet the new day, not because I'm lazy, but because what deems normal is now crazy. A talent show swamped with sailors. This town has grown twice as hot as Pittsburgh. Every steady Eddie wants our real estate. I don't recognize anyone around here, dear. Feels like Michigan, California, New York broke in. Lake Superior's -degree wind-chilled overachievers. A bumper-to-bumper traffic jam dressed up in jelly time. Gridlock, paradox, talking cell phone, privatized Google performers. Slamming computer money down as plebeians sleep in laundry squads. Location, location, police station. Vocation, vacation, gentrification. The gym teacher who slammed my small, skinny 5th grade body against the wall made sure I was dull and ready. He would be king today. 2 realities tango here. A rich moron, a subdued nation. We spent our entire life trying to avoid this ilk. A new reality moves in. What was your name again? Freedom by proxy, my friend. No one should struggle to greet the new day. No one should break dance on a pile of pennies. So I read from this book that I did back in 2003 with my friends. This is for sale too, if you're interested. And I went to Cabo St. Lucas. Anybody ever been to Cabo St. Lucas? Okay. It's an interesting place. Now it's like super duper building up, and they're saying it's going to be the next Riviera or something. When I was there, they were starting to build it up. It was the last place that Cortez found. And that's why they called it Sea of Cortez. He didn't know it was there. And so he was chopping off hands and getting gold and doing his gig. And I talked to the locals there, and they said, yeah, he didn't know this was here. He didn't know about it. And that's why they call it the Sea of Cortez. And that's why if you go to Cabo St. Lucas and you go to the Baja Peninsula at the end there, you'll see a lot of people that don't look like Mexicans, they look like Indians. There's still a lot of Indians down there. It's really interesting. So I wrote this poem called Cabo. We conquered paradise and hid behind the wounds of Jesus. Swelling waves crash in ages past across the Sea of Cortez. The white flash of light ships undulate daily. Take the catamaran to Santa Maria weeping. Santiago holds the cross with wild children swimming in the emerald brine. Aquatic pirate hearts rust eternal. Their galleons of testosterone gone. Follow the wreckage home. Montezuma hid the gold. In his punishment, his arms and legs tied east to west, to steeds the bishop blessed. The command unleashed. The king is stretched, split, stomped, splattered, shattered, all in the name of God and gold. And this is one, this was sort of a monometer kind of song or poem where I was just trying to keep it in a line, you know, very small syllabic. It's called Save Me, and this is from this book too. This is quick, it goes, save me from this repetition of the fact of the past. Save me from this inquisition of the past of the fact. Time sublime is but a trace of tears. Save me from this strange fruition of the past, of the laugh, of the gasp lastly. Save me from these apparitions, drams that last, thoughts too fast, never resting. So I get my book out here. This is and Kuhn was just talking about somebody just sent him 300 poems and he edited them. And I only did 165, but he edited it, which is fantastic, you know. So we did this book called The Hour of the Poet, and it came out about 2 years ago. And it was on Goldfish Press. Very cool. And he helped me focus and get real with what I had, you know, because you get too close to what you're doing, and you have a tendency to be confessional for no freaking reason, you know. And so you're saying, how do I join the freaking air here, you know? I mean, how do I join in with the rest of the universe with these poems? Because you read other people doing it. So this was sort of about a poem that I wrote called I Learned from the Sea. And it has to do with his drinking, you know. I quit drinking about 30 years ago. And I actually did it because I realized the most radical thing I could do in this culture would be not to drink and take drugs. That was a tough call for me. I couldn't do the, let me go back to society and beg forgiveness from the sick society and please make me healthy. I couldn't do it. But I could do it by realizing that it was a radical move. And it made it so that if you get pulled over, it's like, why are you pulling me over? This is called I Learned from the Sea. I learned from the sea. I learned from the young. I built my net worth from a design of vernacular tea. It was a blueprint of desire, a template written time. The disease is not in me imperialistically. It is in the 12 steps, half-wept apologies, the seeds of society. I walk alone and break free with anyone who gets free. Even scotch and whiskey must someday join the sea. And this one's about death. And I'm sure, I don't know how, if you're young you don't think about death as much as you do as you get older. Maybe you do, I don't know. If you're morosely poetic, you do think about death. But there's different ways of thinking about it. And when I go to the graveyard, my sister's under the ground, my father's under the ground, and my brother's wife's under the ground. And so those things hit you after a while, you start thinking about it, you know, because you're going to be in the ground too, right? So this was called a poem that I wrote, When My Eyes No Longer See. The world holds true. A child is nurtured. My unique pathos is angst alive in this atomic painting. Life and death keep moving, with or without me, always and forever to be joined to earth and sea. Soon to be a body pale, sunlight glimmers as ghost angels pass, gliding fast to light the mother lode fair. When my eyes no longer see, I won't hear dull whisperings from passing cars, only music from children playing. Green growing grass above this box, bursting daffodils anew. Here now, every new day, known before it's through. Eternity to see. Breathed in, breathed out existence. The eye is a peek hole to the hole of darkness, and lost light knows the void. So I was talking about falconry, so I'll read you my falcon poem. My falcon's name was Helena, and I got it from a cliff in John Day. And I flew hawks and I flew buteos and what they call scimitars when I was in high school. And then of course, getting the falcon was like getting a Ferrari or a Porsche, you know. You're just driving regular cars and you get a falcon, you go, oh my Lord. You had to time how fast they would come at you because they were moving so fast. And I got her young. I would never do this today, mind you. I'm a vegetarian. I don't believe in that now, but it's a good thing to have done. I guess people ride horses and stuff. I was attracted to falconry. But I had a unique relationship with my falcon, and people that would come out and watch me fly her would be really surprised because I never put a hood on her, and I always put her in the car and she just sat with me. We're like buddies, you know. And she would wait above me so high that people would say, my God, you've lost her. I said, no, she's right there, you know. She'd just be a dot in the sky. And a lot of it was because of the way I raised her, you know. And I had a dog, this Coyote, and I think when you have animals and you don't play the human on them, you let them know that you're equal, they'll do anything for you. It's interesting, you don't have to train them. They get the vibe, you know. So this is Helena. My prairie falcon would wait high above me. Let me try that again, sorry. My prairie falcon would wait high on, well, one more time, because this is kind of important. Waiting on high means it's a term in falconry. My prairie falcon would wait on high above me. In a yearling's ecstasy, we chased the fleeing prey. We hunted together in the hunting fields of lore. My first falcon, the king's bird, a downy princess from the cliffs of John Day, she dropped like her parents, 200 miles per hour. A majestic sight harmonizing the Icarus zenith. We traversed this too, that golden shawl of nature, feathered time-lit earthly raptured hills, a bright spot in time comforting my sad young soul. Her godly flights of impossible ending, silver bells, ringing mirth to Merlin, a castle song in a world of shadows. My overseer to the broke earth below, my first and my only symphony. So this is about, anybody have cats in here? That's what you do. Okay, you got cats. So this is two black cats. We have two black cats. And I don't have to explain this one too much. It just kind of explains itself. It's, as Sam Shepard would say, the cat is a metaphor to drive the plot in this. It has other outside influences going on, other allusions, as they say. Two black cats in a world in chaos. Two black cats in a world in chaos. One called Finnegan, and the other Blaquet Le Chat. They saunter and swagger through my ranch-style house, feasting on fish, chicken livers, and cheap half and half. Around the corner is a boarded-up drug house. Up the streets, lawns get better. A cul-de-sac cadenza. Catnip is like heroin to felines. They flip and flop and lost abandon. I surf the channels and see a head amputation on the news. Proof that no one is safe, even the NRA. Tales of lions, tales of distal cultural mayhem. Our drones will get them back, or a good fracking. I log on to Facebook, Outlook, Twitter Look, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Netflix. slamming the mouse down as I go, as Nintendo minions create new passwords, new jargon, and impossible passwords for baby boomers to snag. My cat steps on the keyboard just as I spot a quick Craigslist job. I need 9 more lives to pay back my student loans. I need more Twinkies and plaid pantries to get the money for rent. That's an inside joke. Anybody know what that joke is? The Twinkie defense is somebody robbed a plaid pantry and said that the sugar made them do it. It's on the books. Anyway, I'll just clarify that. So I need more Twinkies and plaid pantries to get the money for rent. I drift out on the couch in the TV radiation light, curled like a lion, sleeping on top of my pipe dream's lofty shelf, like a leopard of a tree. Let's sing that one. So I'll do another. So this is another Cabo St. Lucas poem. And this one's just called Cabo St. Lucas. Subtle serpent suns itself, lulling souls into a peaceful appetite. We are intoxicated by warm gardens, as Mexican angels guard the unanswered paradise, an airline route away. A wandering child fresh from the ocean wakes me. He asks, "Are you in this dream too?" It is Ecuador, hot, where wealth morphs the rancid barrios, marina fiesta, bonita siesta, broken piñatas. Destiny's chagrin. Thousands of cactus crowns bloom in emerald olive groves. Everyone stops as they hear gunshots down the road. A scarlet blood dance ensues without warning. No past, no present, no future waiting. Okay, I'll do another one here. This is the book. This is when I lived in Colorado. These things that happen when you're a child. One experience was going swimming with my parents, and then an accident happening in the river. One of those things where you think everything's gonna be okay. And another time was sitting in the backyard and my brother carving on a piece of wood, and then literally watching it in real time, watching him cut his hand really bad. And I remember I was probably like 7 or 8 years old. And we used to go to this lake called Harriman Lake in Arapahoe, Colorado. That's the name of the poem. And it goes like this. As children, we wore blue cutoffs, shirtless. It was Denver, 1958, the green summer of our Packard. We drove to Lake Harriman to swim and play. I remember running after we parked down to the lake. My mother foraged through the dirty water beside me. Suddenly she recoiled and cried out in pain. She had stepped on a broken bottle in the murky silt. Her artery was severed, clearly by the amount of blood, coloring the water like a red dye. She screamed in pain, her anguish stopped everything. My glee was silenced, the trip turned to tragedy. Much like my brother Danny, when he chopped the finger deep with a butcher knife while carving on wood. Kodachrome tragedies, all from unknown circumstance. Sitting in wet cutoffs, we drove to the hospital. Another time, another zone, not televised. The Korean War had just ended. And this is a poem about trees. I was doing this community garden, You have community gardens out here? Yeah. And so somebody did one of those horrible petitions. The cherry tree is blocking the sun. This cherry tree had been here forever. It was up on this beautiful hill. And I used to always go up to see the cherry tree rocking out in the spring. And it was like, we must chop down the cherry tree, And I was going, oh my God, And I couldn't believe it, and they did.
Oh.
They killed this tree, So I remember going up there and thinking, that really pisses me off. And I literally was looking at the fir trees all around it, and they looked bummed out too. They felt that way. And they were looking at me like, yeah, this just sucks. He's been around, we all know him, So I wrote this song about trees remember. Trees remember years of spun slumber. Chlorophyllic blood drives the swaying leaves' entropy. Trees recall years of raging cold and solar caress. Nerves and reverie hatch snakes skybound, sending wood through earth, rock, and clay. Trees never forget the time of day. Always still tender, they remember the gentle way. Every year mark rings of arborgenesis. Forest of these tall children standing free on earth, ageless entwined, bound together forever like giant thoughts. That's it. So here's another freezing cold February poem. This is called February Blue. And this is also in the book, Hour of the Poet, Thoughts Upon the Lake of Time. This is called February Blue. Inside each and every flower, colors begin. Inside every color, oceans might end. I became a better man when I forgave my father. Still the living press on in this February blue. Moss and mildew permeate the basement air. There are blossoms on my apricot tree. Too early. There a murder of crows charge the winterized sky. Gentrified weather on a green globe of warming. A refrigerated door droops out of control. The Dow Jones is peaking again, but consumer confidence is wanting. As hundreds of thousands lose their jobs, the dreams of the few are the nightmares of the many. A money pot fattens as the lottery bong cha-chings. Hollywood posers lie in the sun imitating imperfect lives in hopes of winning an Oscar with their car crash facelifts. Hairpiece ads and gaudy jewelry motivators sell cable, babbling non-sequiturs on voyeur reality show fables, infantile segues from people you really don't want to know, a Star Search parade of emotionally monistic hits, a who knows who and what the hell is there to do charade, shadows down the street huffing paint thinner and airplane glue, crack the highball merriment without a clue. After all it is and all that will ever be is February blue. Okay, we're almost through here. And one I wanted to do. Thanks so much for listening. I appreciate it. It's a long drive. I'll try to write something. This is sort of going down to Los Angeles a lot and hanging out in Bel Air because I had some connections down there. It's so unreal. Has anybody been to Los Angeles? Yeah, it's completely unreal. It's like Portland and Seattle, and then add 50,000 other counties or something. And this poem is called "On the Other Side of Here's a Blue Pool." On the other side of here is a blue pool. Afternoons they serve iced tea and rum. A Brentwood fantasy in Mulholland land. Pepper trees and grapefruit bees await us. Perfume sweet in the desert's Saniana breeze. I awake and pluck oranges in the chlorine heat. Fences and palm trees protect us. Water wavers waist high as dragons fly by. A witness protection paradise. She writes letters till I arrive. Disappears far from the weeping. Artificial like Las Vegas. It's a place called Progress, right next to boring. On the other side of here is a blue pool. So I'll do one more, and then this is well through here. It's about my family. There's something about winter, it makes you worry about everybody, because it always feels like disease and death and God have mercy. So I wrote this about my family this winter, and this is called "I Watch My Loved Ones Growing Old." I watch my loved ones growing old, family of my tenured soul. We stand to fight this earthly cold, before time's breastfed broken chords. The poison ground calls out to me, stones without translucent sound. Another season round and round, mother's shawl, brother's haul. I won't accept a bending crawl from you. I will lift it up for one and all. Be straight, my elders, be young and tall. Each night my sorrow creeps this hall as I dare to speak death's heckling call. Thank you very much.